Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. It's hardly ancient Chinese secret that I happen to be someone that really dislikes the modern military shooter genre. About a year ago, I put out a video that got about 1 million views for no apparent reason that was just me complaining for about 7 minutes about a particularly annoying scripted sequence within a game called Medal of Honor Warfighter. The devolution of the first-person shooter genre from exploration-based arena combat all the way down to what was basically an M4-wielding Simon Says simulator has not gone unnoticed. And I think that when you dip into something like Shadow Warrior Classic Redux that recently popped up on Steam, a nice little modern coat of paint to a 3D Realms 90s FPS classic, that you truly realize just how true that is, and just how far it seems that we've regressed in terms of the first-person shooter genre. Let me explain what I mean.
A ninja knows no fear.
If we head into this game, what we will immediately notice is the fact that I am attacked within 3 seconds. 3 seconds! 3 seconds? Really? Is that how long it took to be attacked? Yes, indeed. Can you remember the last first-person shooter that you played that was released in modern times that was like that? Bet you can't, because there isn't one. It's actually kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Think about the last few FPS you've played and think about how they started. Let me guess. Cutscenes? Slow walking? Painful, laborious exposition? Prologue sequence? Turrets! Maybe it was a turret. It was probably a turret, wasn't it? Yeah. Bet it was. Bet it was a turret. That's true facts, I'm afraid, folks. Because that's the way that first-person shooters these days are designed. The way they used to be designed, they tossed you into a rather unpleasant scenario. And they would say to you, well, you better damn well be ready to deal with this, because if you're not, then we're certainly not going to give you any help whatsoever. You can figure it out for yourself. But it's okay, because we put the tools that you need somewhere in the level. You just gotta find them. The fact of the matter is that older FPS never got in the way of the action. Ever. They just got you right into it, and as a direct result, in my opinion, they were a lot more enjoyable. Now, you just noticed I found a secret. Now, some people would make the argument that secrets in older FPS games are very, very gimmicky things. Also, this game kills you regardless of what you do. Even the ceiling fan is deadly, but there you go. I would argue that that is not the case. Secrets are not gimmicks. Secrets are inherent to the way that old FPS were designed, and it was to the benefit of the genre itself. Why, you might ask? Why are secrets a good thing? Why is it simply not nostalgia? Well, the reason why it's not nostalgia is because secrets are tied in to the notion that you must explore to survive. The notion that this first-person shooter is a maze. It's not a roller coaster ride. It's not a linear path from A to B. It's a maze. And that maze is populated with things that are absolutely out to kill you. And they will try their hardest. But they've hidden what you need to survive within the maze. Strange Greek legacy, almost a classic poem there. This maze-like design was incorporated in all of the old-school FPS, but it was, of course, prevalent in the progenitor of all FPS, the proto-FPS. No, not Wolfenstein 3D. I'm, of course, talking about 3D Monster Maze. The idea that you're thrown into a maze, the point is to survive the monsters and get out. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It should. And that's basically, all things considered, what a... There we go. I knew you were up there. Unfortunately, it seems like I may have actually knocked this out of place. Maybe I can use the grenade launcher to fix that. Maybe not. Well, that was unfortunate. I actually needed that. As weird as it sounds. Getting access to that secret does unfortunately require jumping on top of the trash can that I just blew up. Oh well, never mind. I'm sure I'll be fine. These secrets are tied in to the fact that this is a game about survival. It's a game about finding resources, and if you don't find those resources, you're boned. Yeah? You want to rely on basic weapons? You can go ahead, because there is a massive power difference in the weapons that you are given in old-school FPS. Like, this thing, compared to this thing? Yeah. This missile launcher is a very powerful, if somewhat situational weapon. There's no real doubt about that. finding ammunition for that missile launcher is directly tied into your survival. Think about a modern game. Is finding ammunition for your M4 carbine required for your survival? The answer is no. No, it isn't. Why? Because there are many, many more replacements for that M4 carbine that pretty much do exactly the same thing. And that's totally fine. You can use whatever you want. Sounds like a lot of freedom, doesn't it? Easy mistake to make. Yeah, it's freedom. The freedom... Oh, this game is unforgiving. The freedom to do what, exactly? You want to explain that to me? What freedom have you gained from that? The freedom to swap your generic modern assault rifle for another generic modern assault rifle that pretty much does exactly the same thing? You will never run out of ammo in those games. Those are games with 2 weapon systems. Those are games whereby if you run out of ammo for your main gun, you just pick up the gun that your enemy dropped, and it's pretty much the same damn thing anyway. There's really very little difference between the two, crazily enough. What's the difference between an AK-47 and an M4? As opposed to the difference between the Shuriken and the Uzi, or indeed the Uzi and the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, useful for many different scenarios. Having the grenade launcher here is extremely important. It makes dealing with this room much, much easier. Because you do that. Isn't it wonderful? And then you go and grab what's in there, get the key, and on you go. That exploration aspect, and more to the point, finding ammo for those weapons, it's not just a case of finding the weapons. It's a case of finding the ammunition to make sure you can use them. And the ability to carry 10 weapons with you, while it might seem that it would make the ammo situation a lot easier, actually makes it an awful lot harder. Because the game doesn't have to consistently feed you ammunition because it knows you have other guns. And it also knows that the stuff that you need is hidden somewhere within the level. Where in the level? Well, that is up to you to find. That is up to you. Various different secrets all over the place. Non-linear level design, whereby you can take note of where health kits are, and because it has a non-regenerating health system, you do need to conserve those resources. There are a finite number of health resources within the level, some of them hidden, some in plain sight. Some of them are hidden, like that, for instance. And of course, limited amounts of ammunition. All of that is tied together to make a really enjoyable and tense first-person shooter experience. That's the kind of thing that is completely lacking from modern first-person shooters. Really poor level design. And it's amazing when you think about it, just what an effect that really has. You need good level design for this entire game to work. It just wouldn't be fun without it, as absurd as it sounds. It's not just a nice little feature, it's required. This game has got to have good level design in order for every part of it to work, because otherwise it would just be feeding you ammunition. Like, oh, right, okay, that's fine, you've run out of ammo, we'll just give you more. We'll just lay it in front of you. And where's the fun in that? Just walking along, gobbling up everything? It's not Pac-Man. Trying to find what you need to survive is key to old-school shooters. Exploring the level, finding hidden secrets, and having the story told to you by the design of the level and not by clumsy, nonsensical exposition and various mentions of Oscar Mike is key to this experience. And it's good. It is a very good thing indeed. It is extremely enjoyable. Very nice. An ancient Chinese secret. It seems, unfortunately, like it's an ancient Chinese secret to most people as to how these bloody games even continue to be fun. A lot of games have forgotten how to do it. There seem to be 2 kinds of FPS these days. The first kind is what you would expect. It is the modern military shooter. It's on rails. It will take you from point A to point B. All of that freedom is essentially an illusion. There are some games, like, say, Crysis 2, where they try to widen the roller coaster. They widen that road. You can go left, you can go right. You can go from side to side. But you probably won't be swimming in a koi pond. These koi will try and kill you, by the way, as you might imagine. Everything in this game does. You won't be swimming in a koi pond looking for health kits, or indeed caltrops. You're not gonna find that kind of experience there. You're not gonna just flat out go the wrong way and have to go backwards. It seems like modern first-person shooters hate the very idea of going backwards. If you have to backtrack, then you've designed your game wrong, at least in their opinion. I beg to differ. I think that exploration aspect is a very strong part of first-person shooters. And as a direct result, I enjoy the older first-person shooters an awful lot better. The story is told to me by how the levels are designed. Look at that. You remember that little secret area earlier? Do you? You probably don't. But let's just say that you did. Hopefully you did. That little secret area was just this little kind of surveillance and interrogation room by the looks of it. That little room has its own story. This level in itself tells its own story. It's not a very smart story, but at the end of the day, neither are the stories of modern military shooters. They are as dumb as they get. The difference is that games like this never really had any illusions. They never pretended to be anything more than they were, and as a result, they ended up being more than they were, at least from the outset. FPS back in those days was considered to be a dumb genre. It was a dumb piece of ultra-violent entertainment. And yet, these days, a game like this looks far more complex and far cleverer than anything that we really see from the modern FPS genre. Even the second kind of FPS, the open world FPS, doesn't really beget good level design. I'm sorry, but I talk about, say, Far Cry 3, and I do not talk about good level design. The reason I don't talk about good level design is because making an open world is not that hard from a level design perspective. From a technical standpoint, absolutely. But designing the level to be clever? Designing it in such a way that there's just enough resources there to survive? No, that's hard. That is a very difficult thing to do. That's why it generally doesn't happen anymore. Why do you think regenerating health exists? Because designing a level in such a way that you have just enough resources... Ouch! That was an explosive right there. Just enough resources to survive. And that you're willing to hide some really awesome resources in some of the most odd places and then expecting your users to explore, that's difficult. It really, really is. How do you know how many resources you require? Well, it's funny because games like this certainly manage to pull it off. And yeah, you might die a few times, but at the end of the day, that just makes you better and better at the level. These levels were designed to have you die a few times because you discover a lot more if you do. You accidentally stumble across those secrets that make these games so great. And as much as I like open world FPS and the chaos that I can create within it, I think that we are missing that older genre of FPS, that true version of this particular set of games whereby it was an exploration-based maze and a matter of skill and resource management. I wonder if we'll go back in that direction. I hope that we will. I genuinely do. Every now and again we'll get a title which is almost there. Almost there, like Serious Sam 3 or something like Hard Reset. It's almost there, but not quite. Because you never really have levels in those games that are designed so well. The first level in Duke Nukem 3D is such a great example of level design in first-person shooters, often viewed as a dumb game. The levels and just the general exploration in that game is far superior to stuff that you find these days, and even the first level of Shadow Warrior has so much going for it, so many things to discover, and it is genuinely challenging. It is not a game that holds you by the hand, it rewards you for thinking outside of the box. What a great experience. I would really urge all of you, if you have the time, to give Shadow Warrior a try. You can get the classic version for free, it's of course open source, or you can buy Redux, which comes with the expansions, and they smooth the graphics out a little bit, gave you a few modern options here and there. But I pine for the time when this was the standard. I really, really do. I pine for the time when games said to me, you better explore, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. Oh, you're low on health? Better go find some health kits then. Not just hide behind a stone wall and wait for that health to magically reappear. You're out of ammo? Better find some instead of picking up the almost identical gun of that insurgent over there. What is the difference between an AK and an M4 in a game like that, aside from some minor statistical changes? I tell you, man, Shadow Warrior, Duke Nukem, that was where it was at. And it still is. If you can ignore the graphics, these games absolutely stand the test of time. In fact, I'd say they do more than that. They remind us just exactly what we've lost in this genre. I really hope we get back to that. I really do. My name's been TotalBiscuit. A little bit of rose-tinted nostalgia there for Shadow Warrior Redux. We'll see you next time.